Welcome back to Life Leadership with Alex Urbina, right here in your hometown station, AM 1220, KHTS. You're listening to a special broadcast dedicated to remembering Sarah Alarid. And joining me in studio today are Sarah's three sisters, Chelsie, Kayla, and Brook. We also have joining us in studio today are her two friends, Brianna and Jordon. Before we went on break, you guys were sharing some pretty amazing stories honoring your sister and your friend. You know, one of the questions I wanted to ask you is, what did you learn most about this experience personally? If you could share, what was the biggest lesson you learned?
Me personally, my biggest lesson is that family and friends are everything. They're everything, you know, because we live this life and we tend to just get into a habit of doing the same thing every day. And so this has kind of brought us, you know, out of that rhythm of everyday life, and that, you know, we've been with the family like every day and it feels really good. And it's just like, I want that more. I want more, like,
you don't want it to go away.
I don't want it to go away. And, you know, I just want the family getting together as much as possible.
What's the experience? So if you can put a word to the experience that you're having as you guys are really closer, what would you call it? What's the experience that you're talking about? Connected, right? Connected.
Yeah, definitely reconnecting.
How about a deep connection? You feel deeply connected with each other?
Yeah, definitely.
You just feel like you don't want to take things for granted, because you never know when someone or something, you can lose them, you know. And it's just, like she said, like, you go about every day living your life and you don't really think these things will happen, and when they do, it's, you know, it's really traumatizing. Like, this is something I've dealt with death before, but never like this. Never is somebody this close to me in my life. This is something I'll always remember.
We're also learning how to re-communicate with each other.
Yes. Yeah.
We're, you know, there's little things we're finding out about each other. I mean, it's my sister definitely, and each other. That's just like, gosh, you know, like, I can't believe I didn't know this. Like, it took this event to find out that my sister and I love the same music. We have a lot of the same bands in common, and it's really, really sucks that this is how I had to find that out. We're learning how to talk as our sisters. We're learning how to talk to each other. We're talking to her friends, and, you know, I'm 9 years older than Sarah, so I always saw her, you know, Sarah and you guys as, you know, little. So you guys are grown-ups to me now, and
all the little stuff, like all the petty little fights that don't matter no more, because this is bigger. You know what I mean?
That's pretty profound.
Yeah.
We also realize, like, you know, because we've lived in Santa Clarita, like, you know, mostly our whole lives, and
Sarah's whole life.
Yeah, and I just, like, realize, like, how much the community comes together.
Yeah, you never realize how many good people are out there till now.
Yeah, it seems like it's more of, like, a smaller town, you know, impacted by such a big thing, and everybody just comes together and you just share the love.
And that's
like
an amazing
everybody.
Experience.
Yeah, that's a huge, humbling experience.
It also sees how much one person can affect everybody. We're seeing people we haven't seen since we were small children,
or just strangers. Reaching out to you,
or we're meeting people that, like, your sister went to the same school as my kids, and, or, you know, I work at the school your sister went to, and it's really affecting everybody. Everybody has just
been touched one way or another.
Yeah,
absolutely. I know personally, on Saturday night, I was part of the search on Saturday with my two daughters and my wife, and later on that night, it opened up a very powerful and deep, meaningful conversation that we all had at dinner. And, you know, we started to talk about what happens if you don't come back overnight, or what happens if you're in that period where, you know, because there's a window between, I just want to goof around and, you know, go an extra couple hours, but what happens when you're past that period? And we really started to create a game plan to set each other up to win. And I think that you know, there's little mini lessons that not only you guys learn, but everybody can take an opportunity to.
Well, I mean, a big thing is definitely, you know, let people know where you're going,
or what route you're gonna take.
Always keep in touch with somebody, so
you know,
somebody
send
knows
a text
where you're at.
message real quick saying, I'm on my way home, or I'm gonna go Starbucks real quick. Just whatever you're doing, just let somebody know, because
it doesn't have to be your parents, just at least
a friend, somebody, because to go through this for 9 days is probably just as traumatizing as the outcome that
the
we
end
were
result.
led to. Yeah.
Now, will you guys start practicing that? Will you guys start implementing that in your own life? And
Of
Yeah.
course.
Yeah,
I've already
it's
been
kind of
telling my
already
son.
started. I mean,
I knew I used to get like really mad at my mom. She would text me every hour, where are you, where are you? And now it's like I'm hoping for her to text me,
Like,
where are you?
you understand
I'm
me.
glad to tell her where I am and who I'm with and when I'm coming home.
Because no matter at the end of the day, we know that our family and our friends have our back, because even though you feel like, oh, I can't
Afraid to
text,
tell.
you're afraid because, you're going out with your friends. But like at the end of the day, after this, at the end of the day, no matter what, they'll have your back
It's
regardless.
important that you're safe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Better than what you are doing.
Yeah.
Absolutely. One of the things that, talking about that experience on Saturday, I was really impressed with your family and your commitment to find your sister, and just looking back at it and just watching how you guys stepped up, and you guys kind of really played at a whole nother level that I don't think I've seen anyone in any community that I've lived in rise to that level. And I think that when you guys did that, whether it was following your dad's lead and just everybody getting on the same page, is what causes the rest of the community to step up and want to play at that level. And I just want to acknowledge you guys for really doing that. That was pretty incredible.
Because we didn't want to let her down. We wanted,
it wasn't an option.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
I think a lot of that has to go, the thanks has to go to my dad, because since we were little, he's instilled those, values and morals into us, and they kicked in overdrive, and, and
One of the biggest compliments I got was like, you have more of your dad than you think. And I'm just like, well, that was great to hear, because
it was also good for us because we were able to like help support my mom too in those ways. We were able to be,
like she saw her family come together and look for my sister.
not just the family, her friends.
Yeah.
All her friends came in there and they hugged her and helped her, and it wasn't about like, well, it was about finding her, and that was the priority. There was no option of not letting this come to any type of end.
Yeah.
We were
Until
going
we
to find
found
her.
her.
Yeah.
And everybody made sure that happened.
And we all made sure we were on the same page regardless of our thoughts and our decisions or anything. We had a game plan every day.
That's
and
awesome.
We woke up with that game plan every morning and executed it.
Yeah,
And
we always joked that
I
my
went to
dad was
sleep on the same
debriefing
page.
the family. So
No, like I said, I think that was just an incredible. You guys set the standard really for.
We were like an investigative
Yeah,
team.
absolutely. Yeah, and I think you guys taught us as a community how to play to win, and I think that you guys are a championship family, and only championship families make statements like that. That there's no other option,
Exactly.
right? It's just 100% committed to finding her and bringing her back, and you guys did that. You guys also took advantage of the social media, which was pretty incredible.
That's the first thing we did. So
Yeah. So I guess my next question is what does social media mean to you now after that experience?
Well, I mean, because I was the first one to put the information out there in the first few days of
well, even before
And-
that, we were getting in contact with a lot of her friends. Just
Yeah.
like we were going on her Facebook page and who's her friend and contacting
And my
all her
Facebook was
friends.
actually deactivated till this happened, and I always thought to myself, I never really used Facebook to like talk to friends or anything like that, but I always said Facebook is great for advertising
Getting
something
the word
so
out.
traumatic like
Yeah.
this, getting the word out, and that's why I reactivated mine to spread the
we
word
jumped
that she
on
was
it.
missing.
Yeah.
We utilized
first
that
thing we
source
did.
as much as we could.
Because because we're
Any source
We
we
grew
use.
up with technology, so we're aware of how effective it is. So we're like, once it's like once you light something, the fire spreads. So you put it on Facebook and then everybody shares it, their friends share it, and then all of a sudden you
We
have
had-
family that live all over the
we
country
had
and they're
people in
sharing it.
Australia sharing it, Japan.
Well, I got to tell you that I think that because you're so young and you have that experience and you knew that, you're teaching some of the older people that don't realize it, that they're starting to now, their ears are starting to peak and really look at that and,
Yeah.
and see how powerful, Facebook or any of these, Twitter or any of these other
Yeah.
social media sites can really help you and support you in that.
Yeah, it was also very helpful because, when we were putting our meetings together and, we were passing out the flyers, people would come to the car and they're like, okay, what's the new update for the next day? And I was like, just check the Facebook page,
We had it constantly updated.
And it
we
was
had a place that everyone can go to,
Yeah.
everyone can look at. I mean, my Uncle Sean and Aunt Becky were great about making sure that thing was updated every day, every
answering
second.
posts,
if there was
answering
an
questions.
if there was an update, they threw it on there as soon as they could. So, I mean, it really helped us get the word out there. It wasn't, a telephone tree anymore. It was right there for you to see, and all you had to do was check it.
Yeah, it was.
I also got to tell you that you guys were also ahead of a lot of the media news sources, because you're getting stuff real time. And it sounds like to me that a lot of the media outlets have to double check and confirm before they even post anything. So you guys are right there on the scene, getting people that are responding, hey, I saw this, or hey, this is happening. You guys are right there, just kind of in the mix, flushing some of that stuff up.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then, once the media got involved, it was extremely helpful. We're very humbled by, putting her name out there to help us. And
they're very cooperative with us,
Yeah.
and following us. And
they're really good to us, and their main focus was trying to find her.
Yeah.
And that, everybody was in the same frame mind. Let's find Sarah. Let's find her. And it was a big help for us, to get that out there.
So talk to me about the rest, like taking a break and sleeping and
It didn't happen.
No rest.
No rest.
There was no rest. It was
We're wondering when
you
it took
you fell asleep because your eyes didn't stay open, and you slept for maybe an
2
hour or
hours.
2 hours, and you were up and
again.
you were checking Facebook, you were making phone calls, you were sending emails, and then as soon as daylight hit, you were back outside handing out flyers, driving around.
Using all the time
And then that was the
We-
worst, especially when it came to nightfall. We would.
Because you had to
Stop.
You had to stop looking.
Yeah.
You-
and it was the worst
And that
feeling.
was the worst
could.
feeling, because
And
we're
you
like,
just-
we're right here, and she can be anywhere.
I honestly didn't want to go to sleep.
No.
I just wanted to keep anything I can think of, write it down. What are we
Yeah.
going to do?
Yeah, and we have to be very thankful to our family for coming out, and because we all have children, and they came out and helped us with our children, so we were able to accomplish trying to find her, and take care of them at the same time. So that was a big help with that, because our children are extremely important to us.
give me that license plate number one more time.
4WXE737.
It's memorized in my brain, and I
Yeah.
still look. I'm still driving
Oh, yeah.
around looking
I know.
for that.
We see a Ford Focus driving down the street, and
Yeah.
our heart
Yeah.
just stops.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, exactly. And I think that we're not the only ones. There's probably hundreds, if not a couple thousand people out still, got their eyes out, which might be good for the community, because I believe that it takes a village to really raise a family and look out for each other. And we should be doing that. We should be having our eyes scanning to see what's going on, and not just living in this, walking around in life with blinders on, but really looking out for each other. And, if we see something that's not right, we should make phone calls, right, to the authorities.
Yeah.
Yep.
You
Always watch your surroundings.
you could save somebody's life by doing that. You could
Save your own life.
You could save your own life. I mean, you could save something that could happen in the future, by all of us just looking out for each other.
And
Exactly.
how about sitting back, just hoping that somebody saw something that morning? Like, you're sitting there thinking,
Any
there has to
little-
be people out there in that morning, early in the morning, if they just saw something, if they could just jog their memory,
Yeah.
and make a phone call.
Oh, we asked everybody.
Any little lead we got, we jumped on it. We
Yeah.
we
Doesn't matter
didn't
what it was.
put nothing
were
If
out
it makes
us.
sense, we were on it.
We were
Got it.
all out there every
We
day.
That's
didn't
awesome.
question it. We didn't let it go. We made sure and followed up.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to continue to memorialize Sarah Alarid today, so stay tuned for more. You're listening to Life Leadership with Alex Urbina right here in your hometown station, AM 1220 KHTS.